Hey everyone, my name is Vince.
And I am Shannon.
And welcome to our second episode of your favorite pandemic podcast.
Weathering the Storm.
Love, lifestyle, and laughter.
You're listening to R&B Instrumentals.
Weathering the Storm podcast with Vince and Shannon.
Yes, you can find us on Instagram at _Vince and Shannon and YouTube at Vince and Shannon Weathers.
Also, you guys, thank you so much for sending those videos last week. Make sure you continue to reach out to us and contact us at VinceandShannonWeathers@gmail.com.
Yes.
But look at you, baby, looking like Snack Attack. Looking like the original Tiger King.
Carol Baskin.
No.
Carol Baskin.
Come on, Vince these looking like a whole snack.
That's what I do.
First, we just want to say thank you to everybody for watching, first of all.
Yeah, thank you, definitely. And please tune in. Please keep tuning in, like and subscribe.
Yes. So what an amazing first week we had, babe. I just want to say thank you to all the couples who reached out and shared their love stories. We learned so much from you and just saw so much fun in your stories. What do you say, baby?
Yeah, I agree. It was very nice to see everyone who reached out and to know that people are actually watching and listening and sending us content.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So we just want to know before we begin, how you guys doing during this quarantine? I know it's been a big deal for a lot of us. Some of us are together, like my husband and I, we happen to be quarantined together. But what about you guys who are not? How you handle it? What do you think?
Yeah, you got a quarantine bae like mine or... or you quarantining solo?
Well, you know what's so interesting, babe? When you and I, after we got married, you had one of your first deployments, and we had to do a lot of things, virtually, which was uncommon then, but now it's more common than ever. Do you remember the date we went on?
I do remember the date.
Our Skype date.
Yeah, it was weird and unique at the same time.
Yeah, it was. It was so cool. We actually went and bought, our favorite meal. We dressed up. We had wine. I think you had Southern Comfort and Coke or something, right?
That's what I do.
And so we agreed to have our date at 7:00, and I remember we cheers and screamed. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we were on. Were you in your bed? Because I was in my bed.
No, babe, I wasn't in bed. I was dressed up. I had my table and everything. You probably was on bed. You thought someone was gonna go down.
Being ready, right?
For nothing.
That virtual nightcap. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever. So we just want to encourage you guys, if it feels like, it's weird to reach out to someone virtually and have a date, it's not at all. Because my husband and I, we kind of had to do it when he was deployed. It was rich. We were able to, reflect on that, and it was nice.
Yeah, it also let us know that if some kind of adversity comes up, we can overcome it. Because we've already set up the boundary, we've already set up the base for our marriage. So anything that comes along, we're like, okay, this is how we need to adjust.
Indeed.
And then we'll adjust and keep moving forward.
Indeed, absolutely. And also couples, even if you're in the house, still go on a date. It don't have to be, of course, it's not going to be virtual, but go on a date your spouse, go outside on the patio and have a glass of wine, or, go to the park and just sit up under the tree and read a book. There's so many different things you can do to stay connected, and still have that, alone time, that fun time.
That intimacy. Work out together.
Yeah, we do. 5 to 5, every Friday.
That's right.
Okay. All right, babe. So, you want to get into it?
Let's get to it. So this episode is the denial.
Mm-hmm.
She denied me. Every episode could be called the denial. She kept denying me. Y'all don't see there's a trend development. She kept denying me, but I kept coming back. So this is the denial, and we're going to talk about what Shannon did with my number once I gave it to her. So yeah, I gave her my number. Mm-hmm. She took it, slammed the door. I walk off, right? So as I walk off, I get into my car my truck, and as I drive away, I'm like, I need to do, again, like I said in the first episode, I need to do something different if I want a different result. So this was something that was very different for me. I started calling females that was in my list that I would hang out with, and I told them that we can't hang out anymore. And this is the same day that I gave the girl that slammed the door in my face,
yes,
slammed the door in my face twice, my number.
Right.
Same day, on the way
And
out.
baby, let me just say, I was focused. I was, in church full time. I was going to school full time. I was working full time. I had a whole son. So I really didn't have time to be focused on you. I didn't have another thing to focus on. I just couldn't put that energy into that. So that's my story I'm sticking to.
Anyway, so I denied myself
Okay.
that those extra pleasures because I wanted a long-term commitment.
Extra pleasures.
Those extra, those, yeah. So I wanted a long-term commitment. So I started calling these females and I said, hey, we can't, do what we do anymore. We can't hang out, all this other stuff. Some of them got mad. Some of them didn't even pick up, whatever. But I did that for a reason. And the reason was because I didn't want to be bothered or burdened by someone else when she called. Because I knew she would call, because why could she not? I mean, look at me. How could she not call this?
Gosh.
So,
Do you have to say that every episode? You just let people.
yeah, every episode.
Anyway.
That's part of my notes right here. Make sure cockiness and confidence is right here in my notes. So,
Pompous, arrogant, Go ahead.
anyway, I wanted to make sure I was available for her when she called. I didn't want to be like, I got a double date. I want to be like, oh yeah, you want to go out next week? You want to go out tonight? You want to go out in 30 minutes? I'm ready. Let's go. So when you see that one that you want to be with, make sure that you put her as a priority immediately, because you never know when that chance might come up that priority may need to become a priority.
Absolutely. And I would just say, for me, I took his number, put it in my purse, and I did keep it. I mean, I'm nobody's fool, but I kept the number and I just kept moving on with my life because I realized, again, I was very focused and had things to do. So what we want to discuss with you guys kind of today is the importance of denying yourself. And I think before we go any further into our love story, honey, what thing can you just share with the people, the things that you denied? Like you just mentioned, you decided to cut all those women off, even though I never said yes to you. I basically denied you. So can you talk about?
Yeah. So I denied myself temporary pleasure, right, for a long-term commitment, like I said earlier. Also, this denial is not about Shannon really denying me.
Okay.
It's more about you denying yourself to be prepared for that next relationship. So you getting yourself in the best shape that you want to be in. So when she does call, oh yeah, we can go to the beach and take our shirts off and run around in Speedos because I'm good now. Or you can, if y'all want to go to the library, we did that a bunch of times, to the museum, you can just be ready to do that because you've denied yourself certain stuff to set yourself up to be the best person that you can be.
And I would have to say, I deny myself relationships too, not because I couldn't be in a relationship, so to speak.
How many relationships?
That's neither here nor
Okay,
there.
all right.
I mean, you were not the only one, coming downstairs, knocking at the door. Come on.
What you trying to say?
It's me. Like, what you say? It's me. Look at me. But no.
Who's pompous now?
Whatever. But I would just say that I met people prior to you, and I realized, this is not what I want. I had another opportunity at Love, and I was going to be very selective. I wanted what I wanted. So
And she wanted me.
I didn't really want you. I mean, I didn't know if I wanted you.
That knife in my back.
I mean, you want me, remember? But I thought it was cute.
I'm cute. I'm cute. She said I'm cute.
I like your persistency, but honey, again, I just wanted a better life for my son and I. So that made me very selective. So I just want to encourage the women that are listening who have another opportunity at Love. You can meet a great guy, but it doesn't mean that he's your guy. I met this guy before you. This dude was a believer. He had his own business, had his own house. He had some things together. He was a nice looking guy as well. All those things were good. He just wasn't.
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt. I apologize.
No, you're fine, honey. That's right. He wasn't you. That's why I'm not with him. Okay? But ladies, be selective. Don't be picky. Don't be superficial in your selection process. But deny all others so that you can get what you want. Because why not take your time to find out what you really want and get that? Because marriage is difficult. Relationships are so hard, even with the one you love. Would you say that, Dave?
I would definitely agree. Those 9 years of bliss that we talked about in the first episode.
It has taken work for us to be where we are now. Absolutely.
Yeah, so what I wanted for myself, and this is more to the fellas, what I wanted for myself when I started talking to Shannon, not even dating, before we started dating, like when I hollered at her, I knew I wanted something different.
Okay.
Right? So I knew that these other women would not be, they weren't in the equation for that.
Okay.
So that's why I had to deny myself that and get those out of the equation. Because, you know, when you did call, because it took a while for her to call, because we'll talk about that. But when you did call, I was ready and able and willing.
And willing.
And willing.
Willing for what?
Well, you know.
Okay, you guys. So before we end today, let's just share a little bit of highlights, some key takeaways with you. So, babe, you mentioned temporary
Temporary
pleasure for a lifetime. You
Deny
mentioned-
yourself that temporary pleasure. It's only temporary, right? You stub your
Right.
toe, it's temporary. It's gonna go away. It might hurt for a second because I was dialing those numbers real slow. Like, should I call it? All right, I gotta let it go.
But call them.
Oh my god!
Call
They
them.
were nice ladies, okay? They were nice females.
Okay. Also, you guys, during the dating phase, ladies and gentlemen, during the dating phase, be selective, not silly. Like, don't decide not to talk to a guy because, you know, his job is not what you think it should be. He works at McDonald's or Walmart. Well, guess what? Right now during this quarantine, people, those are essential workers, and they are still making money.
Making cash.
You know, so don't be silly in your selection. I mean, like, of course, get what you want, you know, when you're dating, but make sure you're not being silly and superficial, you know, when you're choosing the guy.
Of course. And lastly, you will attract what is inside of you. So be sure, if you don't like what's inside of yourself, change it.
Absolutely. If you're noticing that you're only attracting certain people, like, oh my God, why I'm always getting the old thugs?
You
Well,
getting that ratchet. Hey.
there's nothing wrong with ratchet and thugs. We just so you know, we ain't nothing like, you know, thug love. It's the best love, ain't it? The girl love.
Pain is love. That's what Ja Rule said.
That's not scripture. But anyway, you will attract what's on the inside of you. So if you're only getting certain people coming to you, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Our second episode of Weathering the Storm, the Denial. While the word sacrifice, you guys, often carries a negative connotation, again, it is good for you to be denied, because in the midst of that, you can really attract the goodness to what, you know, to yourself, and, you know, it's what you need.
I agree. Stay tuned for the next episode. Right, next time it's going to be the first date, and you're gonna see how many times she slams the door in my face. We're gonna take a shot game. Like every time you slam the door, everybody take a
No,
shot.
ain't nobody taking shots.
Take a shot every time you slam the door.
So this week, you guys, talk to your spouse or your significant other about sacrifices you made before you got together, and even the ones you're making now. You'll be so surprised at what you find out the person that you love are sacrificing for you. Again, contact us at VinceandShannonWeathers@gmail.com with those stories. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Love, lifestyle, and laughter.
You're listening to R&B Instrumentals.
Weathering the Storm Podcast with Vince and Shannon.